From Anshe Sfard Bethel Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Noach, an imperfect world. If we look at the calendar of the flood, the deluge, the flood of the Mabul of Noach, we notice something interesting about the calendar, about when it took place, and how the rabbis viewed that. It says that in the 600th year of Noach, B'chodesh Hashini, in the second month, B'shiva Asar Yom Lachodesh, on the 17th day of the month, Bayom Hazeh Nivku Kol Mainot Tahum Rabah, Ba'avot Hashamayim Yiftachu. All the depths of the earth were opened up, and the treasures of the heaven were opened as well. The floodgates opened, and the flood began for a year. Now the question is, what do you mean the second month? What does that mean? So we go to the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, and there Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua have a debate about this very point, page 11b. Rabbi Yeshua says that he believes that this was in Iyar, the second month of the year. After all, this is a Jewish book. In the Jewish calendar, Nisan is the first month, Pesach is the first month, Iyar, around May time, is when it happened. In Israel, it's a great curse to have rain during the summer, trying to reap the harvest, trying to cut the wheat, and it gets all mushy and wet. So this is a curse. It's the curse of the flood. Curse took place during the time when it's not supposed to rain. During May, when the rain is supposed to have stopped by then. Rabbi Eliezer says, no. What do you mean? This is before the Torah was given, before the Jews went out of Egypt, and before the Exodus month became the Rosh Hashanah. The second month means the second month from Tishrei, from the beginning of what we call Rosh Hashanah today. And therefore the second month is this month. We're approaching now the month of Cheshvan. The 17th of Cheshvan is an appropriate day for rain. After all, it says in the Mishnah in Tainis that if the rain doesn't fall by that day, then you begin to fast. It's the perfect time for rain. You know when the flood took place? It took place during the winter. It's part of the natural cycle of rain. When they're supposed to have rain, they had rain, and did they have rain? Wiped out the whole world. What's the machlokas? What is the debate here between these two rabbis? What are they arguing about? Who cares? My dahava hava, whatever it was. Whenever it was, that's when it was. Why do we care exactly when it was? So we have to go back and understand that Rabbi Eliezer and Yeshua, as it says in the Gemara there, they're arguing about another point as well. When was the world created? Was the world created in the fall, according to Rabbi Eliezer, or was the world created in Nisan, Pesach time of the eventual Jewish revival, the time of the spring? What's the debate? Rabbi Yeshua says, this world, with all its imperfections, is pretty good. So the world started in a fresh way, in the spring, when everything is springing forth, everything's blossoming. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful world. It's not perfect, but it's quite beautiful. And it was this beauty that was compromised by this terrible flood. The natural rain, that the natural cycle of rain that would fall in the winter, that would become a source of curse. God forbid. Rain in the winter is a blessing. God would bring the curse of rain at a time of the natural rain. No, the nature is beautiful. This was unnatural. This was disgusting. So something happened during the summer. It was a curse against the humanity. Rabbi Eliezer says, the world as we have it today is highly imperfect. I don't like it. It's not good. This world, as many ascetics believe, and it's just not really the way it should be. And therefore, I think the world, he says, was created in Tishrei. The world started in the fall. It was, to begin with, it was decrepit, and it was decaying, and there was rotting. There is rot that's built into this world. Therefore, I I think that the regular rainy season, the regular cycle of nature, has within it the potential for this terrible flood. This flood, yes, took place in the regular cycle of rain, because the regular cycle of rain is part of this world which is no good, and it's a harsh and cruel and bizarre world. And could the rain fall on that exact day when the rain is supposed to fall, the day when it should be a blessing for it to fall? Yes, because even when the rain falls in the winter, it ain't what it's supposed to be. The world is not what it's supposed to be. Therefore, we understand also, this is part of a general philosophical debate between Rabbi Eliezer and Yeshua. There was once a ring pot. You know, you make pottery out of rings of clay, and they put it together, and Rabbi, but it wasn't really together. It wasn't really sealed together. It was just a bunch of rings together. And Rabbi Yeshua said, "It's a pot. I mean, this world. All right, it's not so perfect, but it's tahor. It's pure. It's a real vessel, and it's a real vessel." And Rabbi Eliezer said, "You call that a vessel? You call something so imperfect? You call that something that's whole? No, I deny that." And they had this big debate, and it shook the entire Jewish world, because the question was, what is perfection? Rabbi Yeshua says, the world the way we have it, the pot the way it is, it's good enough. Rabbi Eliezer says, I'm looking for something more beautiful, more perfect. The rain cycle as it is not so great. And it could be that within it has the potential for a deluge and the destruction of the whole world. Yeshua says, this world is pretty good the way it is. It's imperfect, but it's pretty good. God forbid that there should be a flood during the natural cycle of events. A natural cycle of the world is a beautiful world. And therefore, the Gemara strangely talks about the nations of the world. They agree with Rabbi Yeshua. They have a rosier sort of view. Rabbi Eliezer, a less popular view, that somehow this is a harsh world. That's his view. That's the general Jewish view, that this world needs a lot of tikkun, a lot of fixing, before it can be truly a blessed world. This question as to whether we live in a basically flawed world or a pretty good world. And everyone agrees it's not perfect, but whether that imperfect world is basically good, or does it basically have within it the seeds of the potential for a deluge and a flood and a curse. This is a question of how we view the world. How we view the world. Is the world a world that's sort of in the process of decay from its very beginning? Or the world a world that's blossoming forth in the spring of life and moving forward toward a glorious future? We know in the end of days, the things will be restored as of old. The Gan Eden will be restored. The world will return to an antediluvian state, a much more imperfect world. The question is, while we're stuck here in this rather imperfect world, what is our view of it? Do we see the falling of the leaves even within the most beautiful tree, or do we see the springtime inherent in all of the beauty that's all around us? The Rabbi Eliezer eventually was put in cherem. He was rejected. The view of Rabbi Yeshua, that somehow this world is a beautiful world. This world is disconnected from the world of the deluge. This world began in a spring. That's the dominant view. Rabbi Eliezer is an idealist. Rabbi Eliezer, dreaming of a world is much more perfect than the one we have today. We say the view of Rabbi Yeshua is correct. That ultimately, this world, the rain that's going to fall, the rain is inherent with, and here's all this blessing. The rain is a symbol of blessing. God forbid that we should mix with that the symbol of the flood. This world can be a beautiful world with all its imperfections. This world can be a glorious world. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfar Beth Elamith congregation for our discussion of Parshat Noach. Join us each week for our discussion of the holidays, Parsha, and we have various how-to videos as well. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer, and join us again. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit ASBEE.org.